Hey, what's up? This is 36 Drew coming to you with commentary. This is game 3 out of 7 in the Hope Clan Tournament Finals, played on Tourney. Looks like we'll be having a French mirror. Both players, of course, start with the same crates here. We see each player has 1 wood crate and 3 food crates. So we're going to just take a look around the map now for things that could be potentially influential, starting with hunts. It looks like Ryan in his base has 2 decent-sized hunt, along with a wolf who's just chilling out, feeling like he wants to be a treasure guardian that actually is only guarding a small patch of grass. Meanwhile, we take a look back at Sam's base. He's got 2 pretty decent-sized hunts, as well as a 3rd hunt and a 4th hunt in what I would say are slightly better location than Ryan's hunt. They're also slightly thicker herds. You know, there's about 7 or 8 animals per herd, where it looks like each of these for Ryan only have about 4 animals. However, difficult to say if that'll prove to be a factor or not. Ryan's hanging out beside a 135 XP treasure. That's of course one of the better ones on the map. Also, we have 95 wood, and you know, we have a number of smaller treasures around here. Oh, we also have 150 coin, which of course is guarded by 3 wolves, which Sam is about to snag. That's another really good treasure. Ryan, of course, always chops all of his wood to get the market, even if he only has the 1 crate, and it looks like Sam has decided to do the same. He'll also need to gather enough to grab the house, as well as the hunting dogs upgrade. Usually, it's the way to go. It's really helpful if you can gather small treasures around the map of any type. Of course, coin and wood are nice so you can get your houses and market ups quicker. However, food treasures are nice just in case you have a little bit of idle TC time, which sometimes can happen when you go for the early market. Of course, you start with a random economic building on this map, which in this case will be a livestock pen. I'm also going to apologize a little bit for my voice right now, which perhaps isn't so aesthetically pleasing since I am sick and I do have a cold. You could probably tell that in games 1 and 2. However, you know, it's Boxing Day. It's the day after Christmas. I've been real busy, but, you know, I mean, you can't be mad. It's Christmas time. You got to be at peace with everyone, even yourself, if you have a cold. Ryan here gathering a 60 food treasure. Looks like it's not going to be any problem. Sam thinking he could sneak in the back door a little bit and steal that. However, of course, he does not. A nook to treasure there. Treasures such as that would have been more influential back before the negative multipliers were added versus villagers, and they could do things like destroy front bases really quite easily. However, nowadays that just ain't the case. They still have the same amount of siege damage, and you know, once they hit H2, that negative multiplier gets removed. But it's just not quite the same. There'd be times when a player would gather, you know, 2 or 3 tomahawks on New England and basically win the game, and that was just straight up lame. Not sure what's going to happen with these 2 scouts here. It's quite possible that they're just going to end up straight up killing each other. You heard me talk about treasure balance and misbalance. You know, we're talking about randomness of location and such in game 2. If you want to talk about treasures that are just straight out bad, 2 pirates guarding 2 cows is just awful. There's really no benefit to that treasure. Here we have Sam gonna snag the 95 wood treasure. That's a very nice treasure for a French player. Looks like he's gonna bring in the last animal on his first hunt. You know, nothing is worse than when you run out of your first hunt before you've gathered the 800 food to age. Usually, though, at this level, that doesn't happen. And Sam's scout wins by 1 hit. That was about a 1 millisecond difference. And Ryan's explorer was just too late. He throws it into stealth mode. However, if he gets unstealth, a single hit is going to kill him, and I believe it's going to. Sam runs. The scout has a little bit quicker speed than the explorer. I think he's going to get cornered here. We'll see if he's able to escape, and in which case it would be completely equalized. Ryan's devoting a little bit of his attention to that, and he lets his town center maybe just go idle just for a couple of extra seconds. Boom. There you go. There's the equalizer. Let's take a look at both players' decks. We'll start off with Ryan's. Ryan's looks pretty typical. He doesn't have 2 caravels or a frigate in his deck. Once in a while, I see those frigates or caravels show up in either of the pawns on this map, or of course in the big lake. Since neither of these civs have schooners, it's not particularly surprising that we don't see water cards from Ryan's deck. Sam does have those cards in his deck. He doesn't have the Age 3 ranged infantry attack card like Ryan does, but basically both players have very similar decks. I know there was some discussion in the forums about whether or not the game should revert back to 20 card decks, when really the 20 cards you chose mattered quite a bit. I still think the 25 cards you choose matter now, because there is some variation, even if it's only 2 or 3 cards that are different. It's variation nonetheless. See, we have Ryan going for the Nukta treasure down here. Also, I do have to agree with one thing that the fan patch team tries to sort of maintain and support, and that's that you can't change the design of the game. For example, Ottoman having villagers that train automatically, that's by design, and you really, I understand that we're striving towards greater balance and everything like that. However, there are some parameters that you do have to work within, and I would almost be insulted if I were Robot Entertainment and the fan patching came along and made huge changes like that. I think that the overwhelming majority of changes that they've made stay well within acceptable parameters and everything else. And of course, my hat gets tipped towards the FP team to Robot Entertainment for supporting Danielle's memorial tournament. RIP to him. It's a real tragedy. So that was a real class act and character act for them. And I do also realize that they're pretty occupied with things like Halo Wars, and that is gonna keep them busy for most of the time. Getting back on track here with game and build orders, we see each player going for early stables, early barracks. Each player going relatively far forward, which I like. This choke point here could prove to be a huge factor, though. Positioning and everything else, going to be real interesting to see what happens. Also here, we have Sam shipping 700 food, or 700 wood. Ryan shipping the same thing. These build orders are going to be nearly identical, I bet. You could expect each player to get full groups out of either hussars or muskets, and then, mixing up and adapting as is appropriate. The card we see after this is typically 4 CDBs. French-Canadian, Carrière de Bois. I don't actually speak French, so for some reason everybody seems to message me thinking that because you live in Canada, you must speak French. Well, no. In fact, only like 10% of Canada speaks French, and the non-French part of Canada, aka the English part, tends to frown upon those who speak French. However, we have Sam here going for 8 Expos as his next card. Ryan tends to go for the eco side of things, so we'll see if he goes 8 Expos or 4 CDBs. Either card really is a good choice, and of course with France receiving the 5% boost to shipment speed, they come in so much quicker that it's really tough to say that it's a bad choice. I don't think it's a bad choice. I like 4 CDBs. Ryan actually hasn't sent his next card yet, even though it's about 25% on queue. He's also got his Explorer and this Nukta grouped into his units, which is really quite a good thing. Still has not sent that shipment, however. And one of the things, those Explorer and Nukta can be used as is basically like a meat shield. And it looks like this narrow corridor could be hugely influential. I'm sure you've all seen the movie 300, where there's a saying that in this narrow corridor, numbers count for nothing. Well, guess we'll see if that holds true in this game. And there we have Ryan shipping 4 villagers. Samwise, of course all of his vills are distributed amongst food and gold, nothing on wood at this point. If Ryan continues to go heavy on muskets, I wouldn't be surprised if we see him decide to add Expos into the mix of things. Ryan picking up that 135 XP treasure, just conveniently sitting next to his base. Pretty good idea. No risk really there of getting caught with bad timing or anything of that sort. He's got 8 Expos on the way next, and looks like we're going to see a huge melee erupt right in front of Ryan's base here, just as Sam revives his explorers. He's got his groups of hussars back, and they're going to have a tough time pathing through all of these trees and through the stables and everything else. However, Sam does have a group of expos in there, which of course have the nice 1.35 rounded up to 1.4 multiplier against heavy infantry. So, however, Ryan's shipment is going to come and equalize that, and really both players, neither has an advantage here, and neither can inflict too much damage at this point in time. Ryan has not upgraded his vills, neither has Sam. I've noticed that Ryan tends to usually wait quite a while before he upgrades his vills, whereas some other players like Fluky, they tend to be upgrading them really quite early in the game. Again, looks like we're having some back and forth. Both players with some similar massing right here. Ryan is still in the process of spamming units, and really two batches that pop out in these locations have the potential to be huge. I know that we said we'd be fighting in the corridor where numbers count for nothing. However, we're fighting in a small between barracks and trees where numbers may count for nothing. Ryan seems to have a big advantage with positioning here. And I would say that he gains a little bit of an advantage with the outcome of that fight. Samwise, meanwhile, has thrown up a second barracks and is producing dual racks muskets along with hussars to accompany. Of course, his economy isn't strong enough to full out spam both. However, he's going to have two full groups of muskets pop out, and a couple of hussars to accommodate that. Ryan is sending 700 coin at this point in the game. I believe he's one shipment ahead of Sam at this point. Sam just... I wonder if that was just me switching back and forth. It appeared that Sam somehow gathered a whole bunch of XP there, but if you rewind the replay, you might know what I'm talking about. However, it just didn't seem to be the case. There was not picking up a treasure. There were no large fights or anything like that seemed to happen. It'll be interesting to see if Ryan chooses to age right now, or if he's going to choose to just use that 700 gold to spam. I played a couple of games with him, French Mirrors, on competitive maps that both ended up being on New England, and he opted for different build orders in each. Of course, he started with 700 wood and 4 CDBs, but in one game he went for 700 coin after that. In one game he went for 8 expos, and in one game he got up rather quickly. It looks like he's going to be able to siege this forward barracks though, forward stables, which is really quite huge. These hussars, kind of, again, pathing is going to be the story of this game so far, it seems. Having a tough time getting those units to where they need to be. Score-wise here, pretty even. Ryan with a bit of an advantage here. And these hussars, again, I mean, they can engage the musks, but they're not that particularly well, especially once they get thrown into melee mode, and, they're going to have to be pulled back. Those 8 expos that Ryan has, and all of them are still alive, are sitting right behind, firing at range, and Sam is going to try to path his units to get onto those expos, and he does. However, not sure how this is going to end up turning out. Ryan going for age 3 with the exiled prince, thinking that he can probably just hold. Huge decision on Ryan's behalf to age up at a time like this when you're under so much pressure. Guess we'll see what the outcome ends up being. Let's take a look at Sam. If Sam's aging or got some spam of his own. Sam is not aging. Sam is going for straight up spam. And, he starts to spread out his eco a little bit, but to a very secure location. And he sends 3 hussars. Oh, man, I don't know what he's going to be able to do. He's going to need to buy enough time to age up himself, or, run in and pressure with, his heavy infantry cavalry combo before, there ends up being a nice combination of skirmishers and dragoons and cuirassiers and everything else. So, he is not showing any signs of wanting to age whatsoever. He still has a 700 coin deck, or 700 coin card in his deck, which he can send at any point. Deciding to upgrade his villagers at this point in time, probably a good idea. And then Ryan at the 1023 mark goes for age 3. Sam sees that, and he knows he's got to push, basically now or never. Ryan, let's take a look. Oops. Ryan going for skirms, and he's also got a skirm shipment on the way. He's got a group of cuirassiers training, just has 1 in queue. but it looks like he will be able to get out at least a couple in the batch, and he's gonna have some skirmishers pop out. However, there's gonna be 3 hussars that are gonna be sneaking in the back door, and I don't know if they're gonna see those skirmishers, and they do. Ryan is gonna lose that group of skirmishers, I would expect, and he's got a little bit of his not much of his economy actually spread out. However, 3 more hussars sneak into the back door, and those upgraded villagers begin to fight them. I see that 1 villager goes down, and there's just so much going on right here. And it looks like a 2nd villager is going to go down. Probably not a 3rd, as that skirmisher shipment begins to address. And there we have the curs pop out. And Sam throws his muskets into melee, which really is the only thing he can do. Of course, they'll deal 39 damage in melee. Meanwhile, these skirmishers not really able to do anything. This is going to be very interesting to see what happens. Ryan has been fighting with his villagers, and so that halted his economy a little bit. And as Sam, I'm not even sure what he should do right now. If he should start sieging these military buildings or push in. You know, Ryan doesn't really have any wood, and his economy's come to a bit of a halt here. However, he's got goons on the way, and he's got skirms, and he can fight with the CDBs and Minutemen. Wow, very entertaining French mirror to say the least so far. Usually these games can be a little bit boring or straightforward, just because, you know, French is the typical civ, the standard civ, you know, that everyone should sort of be baseline to, at least according to some. And you know what, I would have to tend to agree with that. They're pretty average in that they're, you know, nothing about them is really standing out, except maybe late game curs. You know, they have a little bit of every unit. However, we see Ryan fighting here with his villagers. Their attack has not been upgraded, just their HP, and of course their ranged resistance makes them particularly tough to deal with. Sam is just deciding to ignore those villagers fighting and deciding to push back and fight the skirms with his muskets. He's got some coming to the forefront here, and I'm looking around to see where did that 5 goon shipment go that was on the way from Ryan. Oh, and in fact that hasn't yet arrived. It's just about to pop out. Ryan's got a bit of a disadvantage here on score. His economy's been, you know, at a halt for a while. However, he's gonna really just pinch these muskets. They're gonna get cornered, and they're just gonna straight up die. Goons in the hands of skilled players are just outright scary. I feel that one of the things about goons is that they reward players for being very good with micro. Some people feel that they're just a little bit too good, and hence the reduction in one of the original fan patches from 30 ranged resistance to 20. The thing about goons is you can almost do anything with them. You know, of course you can kill other cav, you can kill other ranged cav, you can kill villagers, whereas a unit like muskets really isn't so micro intensive, but you can't do as many things with them. And really a unit like goons is rewarded by a player who is quite heavy and quite skilled with their micro. So I have to point something out, that even though Ryan has been through hell and back, getting pushed back to his town center and having a score deficit, still does have a score deficit, but he's got the age advantage, and Sam doesn't have a whole lot of resources left in his side of the map. In fact, I can't really see that he's on any food whatsoever, except for that which is here. Beyond that, it's going to be tricky for him, and he's going to send some hussars back around to raid, but he is going to H3 right now. If he's able to buy enough time on his way to 3, this could be a very interesting outcome. It looks like he's going to just scout the 1 villager down there and probably have no problem killing that. However, that goon shipment may come back. He may not be able to kill that 1 unit, so we shall see. Sam's got a bit of an advantage here score-wise, and beating the water boy in a French mirror would be absolutely beautiful in my eyes. There he's going to upgrade his villagers. That CDB did die. We see it laying on the ground there. And we do see a couple of lonely hussars being individually microed, which is kind of a feat in its own. Trying to find out what's going on back here. I don't know that they're going to be able to inflict that much damage, if whether or not they'll get a villager. I know I always tap Alt to see if there are any villagers that are already hurt that you know I am able to kill, and it looks like he will be able to get 1. Oh no, the villager has 3 HP left. So he was, with those 3 hussars, he was only able to get 1 vill. Just slightly not cost effective in my eyes. 3 husks, you'd want them to kill a little bit more than 1 Vil. However, Sam has managed to apply enough pressure to Ryan and buy enough time that he's gone H3, and you know, he might end up pulling this off. So we'll have to just see what happens. Here we have, you know, skirms and goons, and we're gonna have skirms and musks and goons, and probably a big melee of some kind. Ryan has a 2 Falk shipment on the way. Could be huge to the outcome of this game. Have to wait and see just what happens. There you have the 2 Falks coming to the forefront, coming to support Ryan's army. Skirm Goon Falk is just an absolutely sick combo. I love to see when the game evolves so that a player gets a foundation up and, you know, they start spamming Falks. Not really necessary at this point in the game, of course, but it's interesting nonetheless. And here we have Sam's army being spread out to gather some of these proxy hunts. Could be very, very close here. It really is going to depend what happens with this 2 Falk shipment. I would like to say that Sam's got a bit of an advantage. He's got more military units, but a 2 Falk shipment is a scary thing. I remember back in the days of FF Wars when, honestly, the game revolved around keeping your 2 Falk shipment alive. And these Vils need to get run out of here before it's too late. Gonna just take a look at Ryan's point of view with the Fog of War so he can see what's happening. And he's gonna see a large group of villagers. Sam has already been able to run some of them away. I'm not too sure if he's gonna be able to kill very many. He's gonna get 1, possibly a second, and he's gonna pull back. And really, he doesn't know what kind of mass Sam has. Let's take a look at this from Ryan's point of view, from Sam's point of view right now. Sam is going to come pushing in. He's got Minutemen in his army, his Explorer, Skirmishers, Muskets, Dragoons. He's got a shipment sort of soon available. However, the Falks get off a volley there, and he's probably wondering just how he's going to deal with this. Oh boy. Oh boy. The Falks set off the Outlaw Rifleman treasure. Unbelievable. Just unbelievable. And he's going to have to task them back or fight them. That's just a stroke of luck if I ever did see one. Wow. What are the odds Mother Nature would end up being so influential in the outcomes of these games? Ryan is going to have 1 Falk that's going to be damaged quite a bit. Going to be about half of the HP. It has 80 out of 200 compared to what it could have. I don't know that it would have mattered either way. However, we'll have to see what happens in this fight. Ryan needs to position those units on top of those Falks, especially with a group of Curs coming in, and Sam has 3 Cur shipment on the way. And he has some fairly good positioning here. Those Goons need to get tasks on the Curs and the Skirms on the Goons. And he still has the 1 Falk there, and the Curs are sneaking in the back door, but I'm not sure if they're going to be able to deal the damage, and they do. That 2 Falk shipment ends up dying. However, Ryan has done a reasonable job, given the fact that the treasure just ended up basically causing him huge grief. Won't be enough. I thought it would have been, he would have got run over much, much further than he did. That was a very entertaining game. These games from the finals have been absolutely nothing but really just brilliant, exciting, very entertaining to watch, and equally as fun to commentate. And there, Sam is so ahead in score, and Ryan's spam has come to a dead halt. There's nothing he can do. Let's take a look at the post game. You see, Sam ended up getting quite a bit more resources gathered, an additional 5k. If we look at the villager count, really was matched quite early on, but Ryan makes a risky decision to go age 3, and it almost pays off, but not quite. And you can see at the end the 1 large battle that basically ended the game. 36 Drew, GG, well played, both of you gentlemen. We're going to cruise on right ahead here. N3O clan, Hope clan, joint venture, representing. We're going to game 4. This is the last game I will be commentating on. Games 5, 6, and 7 will be done by Zuda, Mr. FP himself. I'd like to thank all of you who continue to support the commentary. Really, the feedback for the most part is nothing but positive, and a little bit of constructive criticism to come along the way. It's too bad, neither Zuda or myself knew more about age back when things like the WCG were around, and Mr. Milo had to basically run over to the stand and pick up a microphone because there was no commentator. I know both of us would have absolutely loved to be over there, and both of us being North American and living actually relatively close to each other would very much enjoy that opportunity. So I'm sure if there was an AOE4, which I do plan on making actually a video post to send over to Robot Entertaining, asking them some questions about AOE4 and about support and so forth, and I will post it up when and if I do. I would absolutely love for there to be an AOE4 and to have the chance to do some commentary at some high levels if it were to be involved in something like WCG. I can't imagine from a business perspective how it wouldn't make sense to build AOE4. I've said it once and I said it again. Really, AOE3 with the expansions were successful. I mean, people always compare it to StarCraft, and it's like, well, nothing is successful compared to StarCraft. But it's like if you compared AOE to the measuring scale of any other measuring stick, it is a successful game. The company's made money. That's just the way. It's just the way business goes, right? So anyway, early on, Ryan picking up a 100 food treasure. And just take a brief look around the map, see if there's any other treasures that would be quite influential. Scout treasure, of course, could be quite useful in a British mirror. 250 food, guarded a little bit heavily, 100 XP, and we have some smaller treasures floating around the map. 135 coin is a nice one too. You generally need 2 crack shots to end up gathering that treasure. This, of course, is a British mirror on Yucatan. This is one of my favorite maps of all time. It's just absolutely beautiful. There's so many options a player can choose. Huge amounts of hunts, really. Sometimes things can get a little tricky because, there's sometimes only 3 or 4 animals in a herd of capybara, or however it's pronounced. So these are tapir. Probably 100% wrong on that pronunciation. Capybara might even be a professional golfer. I can't remember his name. He's some kind of fat guy on the PGA Tour who's really actually a very skilled golfer. Speaking of golfers, I wonder if Tiger Woods and Queen Elizabeth have slept together. I wouldn't doubt it with the way he's going. Anyway, that's a bit of an aside. I would expect each player probably to go Musk Huss. Sometimes you see players opt for Longbow Pike because pathing on a map like this is interesting if you have the trees involved. However, if you're fighting in the open, there's kind of no question about it that Musk Huss tends to be the preferred combo. Would be interesting to see if we see something really bizarre like Grens become involved, or even if we see sort of a bit of a more unique combo, like sometimes we see Musks and Longbows be used. However, not too sure. Ryan's going to go for, he actually decides to queue up a 17th villager. He's going to go for 17 villager age up. Sam's going to do the same thing. Neither player has gone for an early market. It's not quite the same as France, where that is what you do no matter what, even if you don't have the starting crates. And I think Sam is going to sneak in and steal this treasure. Let's see. Oh, no, he doesn't. I could have sworn he had the edge just by a second, but he's just really a millisecond too slow. That's just unlucky. Unlucky. Ryan has a villager coming forward here. Looks like he's going to start to bring in a herd. Of course, the nice thing about manor spamming is you have houses being placed in forward location and placing villagers really in ideal locations, so you not end up having them walking across the map. There comes the market from Ryan, and Sam will undoubtedly follow with the market sometime soon. Oh, he already has it, but where is it? Oh, pardon me, it's because I'm on Ryan's perspective, that's why. But yeah, Sam should be following with the market. However, he's gone for a 3rd manor. Makes me wonder a little bit. Let's take a look at these decks. Looks pretty standard deck to me. We see schooners, 600 wood, 700 wood, 700 gold. Pretty usual deck. There's nothing really to point out about that. Let's take a look at Ryan's deck. He's got hunting dogs on the way up. He just had the gang saw upgrade. His looks almost identical. The only thing is he's got the thin red line, which of course is in the unique church, and he's also got the offshore support, which of course makes ships have longer range, and they have a little bit more is HP or attack. a little bit more attack, 20%. So that's a really nice card, especially when you get Age 3, I like, even though it's really useful Age 2, because the frigates end up having so much bloody range. It's just fantastic. And Ryan, based on his villager distribution here, be interesting to see if he's going to go for Longbow Pike. He's a little bit heavy on wood, possibly though just to get the next food upgrade. So really the only thing we can do is wait and see. Both players, of course, age up with the tower and gold. There's almost no question that that is the way to go. This tower is going quite far forward from Sam, and Sam, wow, bold move, going for an early stables. Usually don't see this 1v1 too often in a Brit mirror. Be really, really interesting to see how this plays out. His first card is 700 wood. Really, that's pretty much the only first card you see for Brits. I really like the change to manners for the next patch, for, you know, a build limit of 15 and providing 15 pop. I think that that is an absolutely marvelous change, and you know, it does absolutely everything it needs to do. It's going to slow them down when they need to get slowed down. It's going to limit them by building 5 less villagers. However, early game, they don't need to be investing so much in houses, and you know, they'll do just a little bit better versus a rush. So you know, I think that was really, really smart on the FP's team. And Sam, of course, gonna have a full batch of Hussars pop out here any minute. Hussars, of course, take quite a bit longer to train than infantry. His next card is 5 Vills. Ryan's next card is 5 Vills, and Ryan has Longbows on the way. Even though he's got a group of Huss, it looks like he might go for, or pardon me, a group of Musk. Looks like he might go for the Musk Longbow combo. And his positioning here looks awesome. He's built his manors and barracks and towers, so he's got some pretty darn good line of sight. Take a look here. He's really, you can see what's coming from almost all of the map. Sam on the other side of things, he's got the tower in a pretty premium location, and he's got some manors providing him with some line of sight. Score-wise, we're pretty even, but that's not surprising. We're still quite early. Samwise is decided, he's thrown up a barracks, and he's added some longbows. So we're going to see a longbow Huss, which actually is one of the most difficult combos to build early on in the game, just simply because you need to have 3 resources gathering, and having gold, food, and wood all macro managed is extremely difficult. And there 1 Vill goes down, 2 Vills go down. This 3rd Vill, I would suspect, is going to go down, and the Hussars get separated into 2 groups. Very smart, you know, not surprising given the caliber of player here. That 3rd Vill will go down, I'm sure. Will we see a 4th Vill go down here, though? That is the question. Meanwhile, yeah, looks like we may see a 4th Vill go down yet. Meanwhile, Sam deciding to ship 6th Longbow. Little bit different. Get a little bit more of an early mass there. See, Ryan, on the other hand, has a shipment in queue. He doesn't have 6 Longbow in his deck, but, you know, I'm not expecting him to ship it. He goes for 4 Vills. So he's going for, you know, the eco option here that we so often see Brits choose. Let's take a look here at Sam's base. That's where that group of Longbow is sitting. One of the things I feel about Brits is they really reward high APM players. That's players with a high actions per minute. Because managing things like your manners and stuff in the early stages of the game does require so much speed and so many keystrokes compared to other civs, which are less micro intensive. So Ryan here, you know, looks like he's at 33 Vills. Sam is at 35. However, there is a 4 Vill on the shipment on the way from Ryan. So these 3 Hussars are going to try to probably sneak in the back door, continue to raid. Ryan has 19 Vills on food. He's just basically just going max boom. He probably thinks that Sam cannot really push, and that's kind of how these Brit mirrors end up playing themselves out often. So Sam, on the other hand, deciding to throw some pikes in the mix. You know, nothing is as awful as when longbows just get decimated by, you know, a group of 5 or 10 Hussars. So, you know, not surprising that he's choosing to mix those units in at this point in time. those villagers, as quick as they run towards the TC, get popped back. Ryan has opted to upgrade his villagers. Sam's are unupgraded at this point in time. Again, just going to turn a Fog of War on from Ryan's point of view here. He's got a pretty good line of sight amongst a huge amount of resources. 1, 2, 3 gold mines, even a 4th and a 5th, and a huge amount of secure hunts if we look at the mini-map, all in this area. And of course he does have some berries, and schooners could be an option too. Meanwhile, if we turn on Fog of War from Sam's point of view, oh, look, actually looks like he's going to push, and he's got 3 hussars camped. Going to see if he's going to sneak in the back door while there's a bit of a melee at the front base. Ryan, however, tends to be very good at keeping those villagers garrisoned, especially at this stage of the game. Not like the Germany mirror, where players were pushed basically to the brink of the map, to the extreme, with trying to figure out where they could gather some natural resources on the map. And I have to think here that Ryan's got a bit of the military advantage. These pikes are trying to siege the tower. Looks like they're not really able to raid many vills at the back. Sam's going to be forced to pull back here, and Ryan is going to lose another villager here. So Sam is doing a reasonable job of multitasking here and raiding. However, he does not have a military advantage here. I don't know that Ryan can really push him all that well. Multihowever, we'll have to see. These 2 hussars here get a run on, of course, town centers with a 1.3 multiplier. Might be rounded up from 1.25 versus cavalry. Not like the olden days when town centers did not very much, or it was either quite a bit of damage to the cavalry. I can't remember if they had a 2.0 multiplier or a 1.0. I do remember that there was a change. However, somebody, if you feel free to post up what the answer is to that. I'd be curious to remember, because of course with all of the patches over the years, sometimes it's a little bit difficult to remember what was going on. And there Sam's going to end up losing 2 villagers of his own. I know there wasn't a 3rd one there because there's only 2 lying dead on the ground. However, Ryan equalizing right back and getting 2 villagers of Ryan's, and he's going to try to run around this little sort of elevation here and see if he can snag any more villagers. So even though Ryan has the line of sight, he's having a tough time catching Sam here. It'll be interesting to see if Ryan decides to throw up stables of his own sometime soon. We have 600 wood shipment on the way from Sam. Let's just click back to Ryan. His 600 wood shipment has just arrived. So this early stable start has been rather unique, and Ryan continuing to just in-your-face manner boom. So we'll have to see what's going to happen. Very exciting game, very entertaining. These hussars not able to really get tasked on anything. Of course, this civ is so micro-heavy, takes so many clicks that you could very easily get busy and occupied with other things. Ryan's going pretty heavy on longbows, it looks like. Sam, however, is not leaving this base. He's going to lose another hussar probably. Meanwhile, both players have line of sight right here. If we turn on the Fog of War, because each has a manor in this area, I'm not sure if that manor is going to get sieged or not. Of course, there's additional XP for sieging one now to sort of give players an incentive, to even bother with sieging those. However, we'll have to wait and see. It's being interesting to see if either one of these players goes for schooners, just because, you can really utilize the sea on a map like this. I usually liked to play it back when schooners was a little bit more OP, or back on the RE patch, and I like to put on 1 dock on either side of the map, because a player might knock me off one side of the water, but to knock me off both, well, shame on me. So, however, of course, schooners makes the docks cheaper, and the fishing boats, with the price change not being quite as significant as in the RE patch and all previous patches of the game. I actually feel that schooners was just slightly over nerfed. It's hard to say if that's really the true reason as to what's wrong, or if it's just because with France, Dutch, and Brits being top civs, Brits can go kind of heavy on water, but the other 2 are not water civs, and so we don't really see that show up very often. Dutch has schooners, but it's kind of difficult to work it into their build order, especially in 1v1 games. We see it a little more in team games. However, in 1v1, very, very uncommon. And of course, France without schooners, we see even less so. Although sometimes you see a player just decide to make some fishing boats either way. Score-wise, we're actually like dead even, and we're at the halfway mark of the game. Or pardon me, not the halfway mark. We're at the 11 or 12 minute mark of the game here. 158 to 159. Ryan, I think, has a little bit of control of more of the map. However, if we divide the map in half sort of from here to here, and we take a look at the gold mines, there's an equal number of mines and an equal number of hunts. So even though Ryan's got a little more than half, it's not necessarily that he has more resources. I'd expect here that we probably see Ryan age up somewhat soon, and Sam looks like he's going to continue to sort of hang out in this age. Ryan's got quite a bit more built in terms of manners, and here he's choosing to send the musket grand HP card. So it looks like as this game progresses that maybe he'll kind of switch his combo more from longbows to a little bit more heavy on muskets. You know, there were a couple of choices he could have sent there. However, I mean, he does have a decent mask. He has 15 musks, so I mean, the card isn't useless to send by any means of the imagination. Ryan's Explorer probably provided him with some line of sight as this large group of longbows walked over him, and you know, Ryan has 49 vills and Sam has 54, so Sam's got a little bit of a better eco at this point in time. Probably because of his raiding, he was able to effectively you know, lower Ryan's villager count. Looks like these hussars are actually going to be able to get tasked on the longbows at least reasonably well. Those muskets end up getting popped into melee mode and coming forward. The pikemen here are going to end up coming forward too. Possibly, maybe get thrown into cover mode, just absorb damage. However, we just have Ryan here, who is almost out of anti-cav. However, he has a group of his own hussars. Oh no, those pikemen perhaps should have been kept back so that they could have been tasked on those hussars. I don't think Sam expected a group of hussars to come and join this battle. Meanwhile, Sam has 700 coin on the way. Ryan has a shipment in queue. So it'll be interesting to see what he sends next. Maybe schooners, maybe the church card, maybe the other musk upgrade card, maybe the wood gathering card. Not sure. And one of the things about the longbow setup animation is you can't really hit and run them too well. In fact, they're kind of bad when it comes to hit and run. So we'll see here. What's going to matter a lot in this fight is going to be replacement, and when I say that, I mean each player is going to need more longbows and more muskets to come to this front to fight. And you know, if they have a long or short distance to walk, that's going to matter hugely. Ryan's got a barracks right here. However, we're kind of in Sam's neighborhood, and the stables, I'm not sure where it is. It's got to be somewhere, probably back on the map, I would think. I haven't seen it so far show up. Yeah, it's back at his town center, so they've got a long way to come before they get to the front of the map. However, Sam has lost a bit of the advantage here, and he's going to need some hussars to show up. Sam's deciding to ship 2 caravels. Not sure if he's going to try to run to the coast and turtle with them, or if he thinks he can drop them on the other side of the map and perhaps harass some villagers of Ryan. I just don't know. We'll have to see if they end up being of any use whatsoever. And there, each player has hussars that come to the forefront, and I think that H2O has decided not to go H3, even though he was close to having the resources. He's decided to just continue spamming, and there he sends the wood gathering upgrade. Exotic hardwoods has arrived. It's funny when both players has cavalry that's just basically killing the other player's light infantry, but it looks like Ryan's got the advantage at this moment anyway on Sam. Still haven't seen those 2 caravels show up. They're still in queue just for a moment longer, and there they show up on the west, sort of southwest portion of the map. Looks like another batch of hussars. There's just 1 in queue. Oh boom, there we have 5 coming queue. We're going to come out and come forward. Ryan's hussars are going to be here quite a bit later, so this is going to actually end up being a bit of a disadvantage to him. You know, I just love longbow wars. You just stand and fight and stand and fight and stand and fight, and eventually somebody's got to stand and fight a little bit better than you've got to stand and fight, or do something smart like mix in hussars. Again, we're seeing a prolonged H2 fight. Not really too surprising for Brits. Brits usually don't go fortress too early in the game. Usually the game lasts a little while, and here we see Sam gaining a bit of an advantage here. Both players really staking claim to half of the map, half of the resources. You know, there's still a reasonable amount of hunts left. However, it does look like Ryan has a little bit more left compared to what Sam does. Sam needs to really get his butt back to base so he doesn't lose that group of longbowmen, and it looks like these 3 hussars in the back door might sneak in and might end up doing a little bit of damage here. There's some villagers all over this place that are unguarded. However, Ryan has manners in quite a number of locations providing line of sight. So he knows they're back there, I'm sure. It's just a matter of finding them and catching them. And he actually runs his group of cav to probably where I would have run them. Good move on Sam's behalf to sort of sneak them in, going a little bit of a different proxy location. However, again, those units are scouted, and a bunch of villagers get ran into the TC, or perhaps transition on some... Oh, no, there they go back. Sam's economy, let's take a look at it. 61 vills. Ryan is at 59, and I just saw a mill going up. I have to go find where that was. There we have it. Sam's throwing up a mill. You think about that. Sam is throwing up a mill. Oh boy, oh boy. If Chalet heard that, I don't know if he'd be too happy. Anyway, Sam is throwing up a mill. He's being forced off the natural resources quite early. Ryan still has some natural resources left to exploit here. So again, that's going to work against Sam. But that said, it's only 1 mill. He's still gathering berries, which of course gather quicker than a mill. And he's still continuing to mass. He's just getting the 2nd wood upgrade now, which is a little bit later. That's Ryan getting the 2nd wood upgrade than normal. Sam got his batch of hussars here, and you know, he's continuing to mass as well. He's deciding to throw some muskets in the mix. I think that's a wise choice, given the fact that Ryan is undoubtedly going to have some cavalry added to his mix. This is a very exciting game. These are definitely top-notch games. Couldn't ask for anything more for the finals of a tournament. And it looks like here in the east location that these hussars are going to be able to probably inflict quite a large amount of damage to these vills. And we have 1, 2, or pardon me, I think it was just 1, 2, 3 vills that end up dying. That's going to hurt a little bit. Might see a little bit of cav on cav there. There, Ryan just decides to send 1 backwards. And we have schooners being played by Sam's behalf right there. Of course, that's going to be a little bit of a nice boost to his eco. He can go quite heavy, spamming from 2 docks. He's got, right now, a huge number of vills on wood. He doesn't have a lot of food left to exploit on the map. Really, he kind of needs to exploit the sea, in my eyes, in order to continue to have enough food to keep up this spam. There he goes for a 2nd mill, and there Ryan is going for a mill. Not too often at this level do we see players end up getting to the point in the game where they need to transition onto slower gathering things like mills. Here we have Ryan, oh interesting, has sent the advanced arsenal, and he's going to upgrade how quick his units walk, along with the infantry breastplate, which of course is going to boost his longbowmen. And he's got the church card on the way too, so his units, they're going to get slowed down, but they're going to get a little bit more HP. Very interesting to see a game evolve to this stage in the game. Looks like Sam is finally going to max out his manners here. He was at 180 pop, which means he can get 3 more manners, because you can build 20 manners plus the 10 pop space from your town center, which is 210 pop. However, of course, this civ caps out at 200, as do the overwhelming majority of civs, unless you factor in weird things like Earth Dance, which you don't see too often, and you know, China, which has the 220 pop limit, I believe. Let's take a look at the military units. We have muskets, which have the attack upgraded. We have longbows, and we have some hussars against a huge mass of longbows, which are upgraded in terms of HP quite a bit. They've got 109 HP versus 95, and their ranged attack is 16. Of course, the other one's going to be 16 too. Gonna see, I don't know if either player is going to make it to age 3 here, or if again we're just going to see prolonged age 2 fighting. Ryan's throwing up 2 trading posts here. gonna probably research Stagecoach or use them to, you know, continue just to gather more upgrades, or more cards rather, sent from his home city. He's gonna slide in 4 Huss in the back door there. Gonna be interesting to see if they're gonna end up causing much damage to Sam's eco here. Sam has a little bit of a score advantage, 26 points, which represents about 10%. So not huge, but an advantage nonetheless. He does have a group of Hussars. Neither player has Cav upgrade cards sent. I don't even think either player has them in their deck. How are we going to do this? Just flip over to Sam, take a look at his home city. Yeah, neither player has the Cav upgrade cards in their deck. Couple of villagers probably going to die here. That Hussar raid getting repelled. Sam's got a couple of batches of muskets about to pop out there. He's going to bring all of his army probably forward to fight a huge battle here. I'd like to think that Sam has the eco advantage of 76 fills. Ryan has 68, but I'd like to think that Ryan at this point in game has the advantage with the military, just that his units are beefed up. And there you see the church card, the thin red line coming in. His infantry is going to walk slower, but it's going to have quite a bit more HP with which to attack, which I think with longbows, as long as you keep them protected, that's the way to go. It's a good idea to play that card. However, I'm not sure that Ryan has enough anti-cav left. Doesn't look like he has hardly any. Just being so heavy on longbows. I mean, 128 HP is really quite nice, but if you don't have the anti-cav to deal with it, you're going to be in trouble. He has a batch of Hussars that are coming around. I get pathing proving to be a bit of an issue, as you can't walk between that gold mine and market and manor. They're going to come to the forefront. Now, longbows that are this powerful can stand a chance against cavalry, especially in large masses, so this could be very close. If Samwise has 2 groups that are about to pop out from these barracks, which it's hard to tell because I don't think he would, because I think it would show up on the queuing mini-map, but he's got so many fishing boats and everything else showing up. No, yeah, there they go. I think that Ryan has a bit of the advantage at this point, just because military-wise, his longbows are so much stronger than Sam's. Sam, though, does have the eco to support it, so we'll see which player is able to hold longer. A batch of 5 Hussars would really make a huge difference right here, but I don't see them in queue from Sam at this point in time, even though he's got a ton of vills on wood there, which he could kind of transition some of them onto gold. And actually there, a group of Hussars do pop out. I didn't even see them in queue. I don't know that I can necessarily see them when you have so many fishing boats queued in using this user interface. And wow. And we have more longbows popping out. However, those longbows end up fighting off those Hussars and doing so quite well. Sam is continuing to boom on the sea. He's got 84 villagers to Ryan's 70, and Ryan is descending to send schooners himself here. This caravel, of course, is keeping those units from gathering on the mine. I don't know what Sam is going to be able to do here. He's got a pretty good spam going on, but those longbows for age 2 units with 128 HP versus 95, that's like a 30% difference in HP. It's just huge. So, however, this stables is in a pretty good location, and those 5 Hussars can get to the front lines pretty quick. Not sure, though, that it's going to really... well, maybe those 5 Hussars will be able to do enough damage. Ryan, continuing just to basically spam longbows. Be interesting to see if he sends a group of Hussars of his own to the front lines. Score was dead even there for a second. 219, 219, and it is again at 215, 215. Really interesting gameplay here. Seeing so many longbows built, seeing just back and forth, and you know, map control being such a huge thing. And there we see Ryan going up with dual docks on the 12 o'clock position on the map. However, he's managing to push Sam right back with longbows only. Those longbows that are just doing actually a ton of damage to those cavalry which are not upgraded. Samwise, meanwhile, having 90 villagers. That's to Ryan's 71. He's got quite a bit of an eco advantage, and I know that he upgraded how quickly his units gather from, you know, from the fish and the whales and everything else. However, Ryan is just continuing to spam dual groups of longbowmen to come to the front line here. And this feels a little bit like a Japan game where the Yumi are just so absolutely powerful that cavalry doesn't even counter them. However, we do have a group of cavalry coming to flank and come in from the rear. This could prove to be a little bit more challenging. However, one of them is already dead by the time it gets there. We do have another group of cavalry on the way from Sam. Ryan sending offshore support at this point with dual longbow coming in. Looks like the positioning is finally starting to favor Sam here, but these longbow are gonna die, and Ryan's are just so much more powerful. I don't think I've ever seen anything like this. Longbowmen beating everything in Age 2 in a Brit mirror. This is just simply almost a little bit mind-blowing here. Sam's got to be a little bit frustrated with this and wondering, like, what the hell is he supposed to do, because I don't know what he can do. Maybe, though, his economy is going to be enough to support and win this push back. I got to wonder if it's the best choice for Ryan to just go pure longbow here like he has been. Samwise looks like he's gaining a bit of an advantage here score-wise. He has a score advantage of 16, which percentage-wise is maybe 5 or 6%. Wow, finally, after getting pushed all the way back, Sam is able, with his 99 villager eco versus Ryan's 79 villager eco, able to push back. However, he does have longbows and husks on the way to the front lines. So, again, both players sticking it out in Age 2, going absolutely super heavy on the eco. Ryan not gathering any gold at this point in time, even though there's a plethora of gold mines around he could be gathering. He's going straight up heavy on food and straight up heavy on wood. Possibly his villagers may be walking somewhere to another mine. However, I don't see, well, there's some in transit there. You can't really gather off that mine because there's a caravel ready to do whatever needs to be done over there. And here we see Samwise throwing up a dock on the other side of the map. Very smart decision, because he probably thinks at this point Ryan's got to be over there. He's got to be heavy on schooners and everything else, and he is somewhat heavy, not nearly as heavy as he is, but he's could also throw up a tower or something like that if he needs to. We're going to see 5 Husks attempt to come in and raid here, probably to little effect. Those manners providing excellent line of sight. If we take a look here at Sam's line of sight on the map, pretty good. His eco is relatively protected. He has one batch of vills which aren't in the best location. However, beyond that, he's on mills, which you have to be at this point in the game, and they're in a pretty secure location. He's got the advanced arsenal on the way, which will probably be a bit of an equalizer, so he can upgrade his longbowmen a little bit, how fast they march and their HP and so on. I would imagine we'll probably see one more large melee erupt before this game is over, and probably be decisive of the winner. Here we have Ryan throwing up a native trading post, so he's ready to spam some canoes should he need to. Score-wise right now, Sam's got an advantage right now of 33 points. Not huge advantage. And actually, Ryan throws up the trading post and grabs one of the Maya techs, and I believe that's going to upgrade. I can't remember exactly what that upgrades. It's so uncommon to see that tech actually, be played and the game get to the stage where it actually matters. I kind of thought it upgraded melee units' siege attack, so like the siege of pikemen or the siege of the Mayan units themselves. They're basically like pikemen, just with a little bit more HP and attack and everything else. Ryan has 2 cards that he could ship, but he needs to be the next age. He's run out of cards to ship in this age. Really, the other 2 ones are kind of pointless for him. He has no muskets and no plantations. There'd be no point in shipping them. He can't even make a plantation at this stage in the game. And there we see a little bit of a sea harass, and Sam really moving full speed ahead as 106 villager eco. Very rare that you see a game like this go to the point where there's 106 vills built. Looks like the unit positioning here is going to favor Sam somewhat, with him able to really work him way and surround all of Ryan's units. I think that this is probably going to be GG here. Sam is on his way to Age 3. He's got dual stables. They're going to pump out dual hussars. His economy is finally rolling. He's probably really happy and really no longer frustrated that he was losing basically to Longbow. you know, I think that there's got to be no way that Ryan can win this fight here. However, you never say never. I've seen weirder things happen. It looks like the surround is just going to be proved to be a little bit too much. And of course, there's the caravel on the other side of the map continuing to harass Ryan on the sea. Ryan's villager and schooner production has stopped. He's really right in the base. He throws up a tower to try to control the other side of the map, but that's just GG. He's got a 100-point deficit, and you just can't come back from that. I know Brit can lose their army and replace it, but this is just too much of a deficit. If we take a look at the villager count, things were pretty even early stages of the game. You see where all the early raids happen, and as things got rolling and schooners got sent, Sam got a bit of an eco advantage. Military unit count really even for most of the game. Lots of pushing back and forth. Really interesting to see how the game shook out. Really interesting to see how that early stables from Sam really worked out quite well. We don't see early stables as often as maybe we should from Brit players. Hustlers are just such a good unit. And if you're able to help mow down the civ bonus of extra villagers, you just have such a better chance at winning the game. I'd like to thank you all for watching. Thank you all for being part of such a great game and such a great community. AOE is the best game ever, no question about it. This has been 36 Drew coming to you, and 3O Clan representing Game 4, signing off. I'm going to hand things over to Zuda, the main man, the co-commentator for Games 5, 6, and 7. These have been absolutely phenomenal games, some of the best I've seen played. Take care, everybody.